everyone, this is Celeste. I am here today to do your January 2020 pick a deck reading. I've got 3 decks here, and again, this is how it goes with the monthly reading, where I'm going to look into 3 different stories. I'm going to do 3 complete readings. And it's going to be all in one video, and I'll timestamp them, and you can pick the deck that resonates with you, the one that speaks to you, and just watch that reading, or you can watch all 3 and see if one of them, matches. I'm not one to, say that you don't have to choose based on like some guessing game. You're free to watch all the videos, and there might be something in each of the readings that resonates for you. Maybe none of them will. But it is my intention that everybody that watches it is going to find something that resonates with them. So if one of the readings seems similar to something you're going through, hang in there and see if there's something for you to kind of get out of it, something that speaks to something that you've been dealing with. So over here, this is going to be deck number 1. We have the Light Seers Tarot. Deck number 2 is the Everyday Witch Tarot. And deck number 3 is the Crow Tarot. These are my favorites lately. So I'm just going to dive in to the first reading. Just give me a second to clear these away. If you picked the Light Seers Tarot, this is your reading. Spirit, I'm tuning into Spirit right now. I'm asking them to show me one story that's going on in the collective consciousness right now. I'm asking that this reading be general enough that it speaks to a group of you, but specific enough that you know that it's for you, okay? I know a lot of us are releasing energy right now from 2020. I know that last night I did not feel this collective sigh of relief that 2020 was over. I didn't feel that in my bones. What I felt was a lot of, I did feel a release, but it was more of like had like a note of sadness to it for everything that was kind of missed. Like time, for the people who had a bad year, I felt that really, I felt that in my heart and my throat chakra. I felt it really strongly. And I felt it a little bit for myself. Like I have, I've been in good shape for this. The worst thing that happened to me in 2020 was I broke my ankle. And that really sucked, but it's nothing compared to what some people have been through. I've been very fortunate. I know that, we made good choices with the choices that we had. But I also know that I've been very fortunate, just that the way that the things fell for me were okay. But I know that in the collective, that a lot of people just, they've spent 2020 just waiting and holding on. And there was just a lot. And that's what it felt like for me, was a lot of grief. Okay, so if the Light Seers was your deck, here's your reading. The Empress, the High Priestess reversed, and the Page of Wands. It's funny because I was just saying that. What I was just saying is actually pertinent to these cards. So whoever I was tapping into the other night, this is your reading. We have the Empress. This is that feeling of having something, as a writer, as a creative, having something inside of you that you want to share with the world, something that you really want to get out of you. Excuse me. And so there's this, it's the Empress is like, it's pregnancy, right? And the world is in her tummy. She's ready to create, to manifest something, whether it be a child or a creative project, or just some new awareness into the world. It can also be something intangible with the Empress. She's very connected to the earth, but she's also connected to the celestial realm. So there was something in you this could be the whole past year, but it could also just be toward the end. This could have manifested itself in you late in the year where you were like, I'm really ready to do something. I'm ready to create something, but there's been a pause. Okay. There's that feeling of darkness over your intuition. There's this, I want to do this, but which way do I go? There's a lack of intuition. There's a lack of connectedness. It's almost like you're either not trusting your higher self, you know, in terms of what guidance is coming through, or you're feeling like there's a blinder on your third eye, like the intuition it's just not coming through at all. Like there's not even anything there to trust, which is very upsetting to somebody who maybe has felt very connected before. Could also be that you're ready to start to move into this energy, but you're experiencing that resistance right now. Like you want to trust, like you know what you're being guided to do, and you're just pushing back against it. And the reason I say that is because we have the Page of Wands reversed. This is about creativity. It's like your wild, kind of untethered spirit, and you're holding it back. So that's why I say you may be getting the guidance and you're just not following it. You're not trusting it. But the guidance is there for some of you, and for others of you, you're not feeling inspired. Like you got this, maybe you have this like outline and the thing isn't happening, right? That's really upsetting sometimes. Let's get some more. What else is going on here, Spirit? Some of this might resonate for you and some of it might not. There can be very specific messages for specific people. So, you know, don't be bothered if like one or two cards doesn't fit, but the rest of it does. Those cards weren't for you. That's kind of how it goes. Page of Pentacles. You're feeling, this could be a energy of you were starting to, there could be doubt around, I want to say finances. This could also be about a business decision, something very material bound. There's either a pause or a lack of trust. Maybe you're not thinking that your idea is going to make money. Maybe you're not thinking it's going to be profitable. Maybe you just don't know how to bring it into fruition on the material realm. That could be what's holding you up. You have all these doubts because you're focusing. So when we have two pages in the reverse, it makes me think like you really want to start something, but you're just in the weeds, and you haven't been able to move into that beginner energy yet. You're overthinking it probably. Okay, definitely you're overthinking it. Yeah. You're resisting change big time. And I think probably for good reason, because 2020 brought a lot of change, but there was also this, in the collective, there was this huge, for some people, very real need to like pull back their energy from things that seemed frivolous, and to focus on something that felt more stable. So you were resisting, you didn't want to put yourself out there for anything to crumble and fall because you felt very vulnerable. Yeah, you didn't want to be the fool, because fools get hurt, right? Fools get hurt. But there is a bright, there's still a bright spot there for you. There's something intellectually or communicatively poised for you. So if this is a book, if you're a writer and this is a book, then you've got it all planned out. I feel like this thing is all ready for you to draw down into the physical. So maybe it's a book that you've outlined and haven't written Maybe you've done all the research for something and you just haven't really gotten started. You haven't allowed yourself to kind of move into that energy. There could be something here about needing to learn something new and being ready. So if you haven't already done the research, you might be being guided right here to say that if you're feeling like you can't dive into the actual project, the actual writing, this might be an invitation to say that you could do some more research. Because what's funny about this is, you have this don't want to be a fool energy. And so on the opposite side of that, there can either be a tendency to do too much research so that you don't, or to bury yourself in research and procrastinate putting off. But I'm not getting this in a shadowy aspect. I'm getting this more in an empowered aspect. So maybe the answer to not feeling like a fool is just kind of going over that outline and just seeing if there's any other thing that you need to learn. Because sometimes we actually do. Sometimes we're just procrastinating. Sometimes we actually do need to learn more before we can write about something. It's really just not, it can also be that thing where you've written your draft, your messy draft, and that's the difference between being able to rewrite and move that messy draft to a really decent second or third or fourth draft, is the level of, okay, I don't know anything, I'm writing about this thing and I don't know squat about it. I've got to take, a little bit of time, not 6 years, like a little bit of time, maybe take a course in something, or go read about it, or do some interviews. I've had to interview people for fiction before. Sometimes you do. You need to make sure that certain things are done well so that you can feel confident to move on. Like I said, don't use that as an excuse to wait 6 years to finish your book. That's procrastinating. You're not trying to, this is presuming that you're moving at a decent pace and that there's something that you need to know. What was I gonna say? Oh, what's coming up for you? I want to look at what's coming up for you this month with this creative project, I'm going to assume. Okay, I'm seeing you moving into a place of a really solid foundation and starting to trust your inspiration more, to feel that you have a little bit more of a plan and like that rising excitement starts to come up inside of you. And I'm seeing you working steadily on whatever it is that you need to do. So if you needed to learn something so that you could write this story, I'm seeing you going after it. I'm seeing you take on the burden of doing your research so that your fiction is believable and rooted in reality. Even science fiction. A lot of times we want to have... I don't know why I said science fiction, because it's not my thing, but it just came out. So that must be for somebody. So even if it's science fiction, sometimes, we need to learn how something works before we can write a really good science fiction about it. And I'm seeing you taking that on. Oh, I'm gonna look at these. Yeah, I think that there's going to be a little pause while you're working on it. So, but that pause, I think, is going to feel really good. It's going to feel like something is going to be able to grow out of it. See, I'm seeing that energy right here and right here. And I'm seeing that this time that you're going to spend working on this thing that's going to give you the information you need to keep writing, I'm seeing that being really fruitful, and I'm seeing you just emanating that creative energy and really, really knowing where you're headed, like feeling very confident, intellectually speaking and communicatively speaking, about where you're heading. The Page of Swords becomes the King of Swords through this action. And I think that's awesome. So this sounds like a big month for you. creatively if you're willing to step up to the challenge. I'm going to pull some, let's pull some shadow energy. I want to know what might get in your way so that you can sidestep it. This isn't to be negative. This is just to, I like to see the field. I like to scan the distance and see what's coming up. Okay. There's being worried about what somebody else, so this is worried about what somebody else wants from you. In light of this reading, I feel that this is, you're a little bit afraid that the man is going to kind of not be interested. And that's a mistake to be worrying about what that person, you know, if we look at this Hierophant as the establishment, kind of, if you're thinking about what the publishing industry is going to think of your work, that's the wrong way to go about it. This is a person who might have the power to, you know, dictate to others how the writing should be. And if you worry about that, you're going to block yourself up. Don't let yourself get into that worrying energy. Okay, you're going to have a tendency to so there's it's the kind of the reverse of this Hermit energy. It's the so it's basically like you're gonna want to pull in, but there's something about you that's gonna want to share. And the warning here, or the thing to bear in mind, is that when we don't want to go public with something before it's ready. There are times when it's wise to like talk about your project, or start querying it. Don't start querying too soon. This is a person looking for a victory, and it's in the kind of the pitfall, right? It's telling you it's not ready for the public yet, but it's going to be. Okay, it's going to be. You just have to wait till that time is ripe. If you spend January right, it might it might be ready later. I don't know why I'm hearing you know, by March maybe for some of you. How fast can you write? I don't know. Maybe it's almost done. Okay, and there's going to be a temptation here to walk away from this project because of this stalled out energy and the kind of lack of inspiration that you've been feeling for it. They're saying don't walk away. They're saying stay the course. Do not turn your back on this project before you're ready. All right, if you decide you're done with it, that's one thing, but don't just quit because it gets hard. We have to stay in there. All right, what are some strengths that you're bringing? What are some strengths you're bringing to the table? Pull one more. Okay, I think, okay, this makes sense. I think that you've been afraid of walking away. I think you've been afraid of like working on other things, because I see you carrying all these swords and I see those as being ideas. And so you've been this is this project that you've been working on, and you've been kind of like looking back at it. Like, I really want to do this, but these are, I don't know, these feel more fun or more easy, maybe? I'm getting easy for some reason. That's not usually what this card means, but I'm getting easy. And these ideas are a little harder, and you haven't wanted, you just haven't wanted to, all this swords energy, you haven't wanted to take on that intellectual burden of learning whatever it is that you need to learn to finish this book. And they're saying that you need to finish. You're ready to finish. That's why it's a strength. You're ready to finish. You've looked at it. You've recognized this in yourself, and this reading is telling you that it's time. It's time to do this. All right. I think I have made my point on this reading. I'm going to pull a couple of surrender cards because this can be like energy that's kind of blocking you up, getting in your way. Surrender ego. This is that need to, so there's a desire to please everybody. That's your ego speaking. There's also an idea that maybe, you know, this should be easy and I should already know this. No, if you have never been exposed to something, how could you possibly know about it? You need to go do your research. That's what good writers do. Surrender your belief in scarcity. Okay, so there's that belief coming around again that this is not good enough and that you might lose something. There's this idea that you have to hold on to, you know, hoard ideas or basically like play it safe because of scarcity right now. And they're saying that first of all, you don't have to quit your day job to finish this. So there's absolutely no need for you to be thinking that. If you are in a scarcity mindset because you've lost a job or because like writing income has sort of dried up, if you had any, you got to kind of work on shoring yourself up against believing that that's all there is. It might feel very, very pressing on you, and it might really be urgent. You know, when we lose income, we can get a little bit panicky. And what my guides are saying is, so this message, I don't want this message to sound condescending or like people be like, how can I surrender my belief in scarcity when scarcity is being confronted to me? It's being shown to me in my life. Like, it's happened. I'm here. Like, I'm worried about where I'm going to pay for this thing or that thing already. How can I surrender that? And what my guides are saying is, you're not surrendering. You're not saying that there isn't a lack or a need right now. What you're doing is you're softening your focus on it, and you're understanding that you can, you know, that you can still write. If you have to take a second job to pay for something, it's okay. Like, we want to make it like, you know, if this book doesn't make it, then I'm going to be destitute. No, you don't have to be. You don't have to put that much pressure on that book. Like, if your art isn't making you money yet, it would be silly to lean on it. But just because it hasn't made you any money doesn't mean that it never will. And surrender resentments. If you are holding on to any resentments toward whatever has toward 2020 in general, or whatever happened in 2020, it's time to let that go, because that blocks creativity. It can also, let me be honest, resentments can also feed your creativity. A lot of people have written good stories about their resentments, so I'm not saying that you can't use resentment as fodder for a good story, but I'm saying that if you find that instead of creating, you're sitting around resenting something that happened in 2020, take a deep breath. Start working on softening your hold on that. Don't let that poison your creativity well. If you have to use it to write a story, if you have to make something out of it, then maybe allow that to percolate, but don't allow it to poison your field of creativity. We do that way too often, right? A couple more cards of guidance. These are going to be long, and I can tell it's going to be a long video today because, let's see. Message in a bottle. Yeah. Taking action, staying flexible. Take action. This is not the time to be sitting around and thinking about taking action. This is the time to take action. This is the time to understand that things are moving right now. And so we have to be flexible because there are changes, you know, from day to day, from month to month. And we have to kind of roll with the changes. And the message in a bottle, this is about It's about, I think it's about delayed gratification. It's about your desire to, allow this story to be like, when you're doing your research, you're delaying your gratification a little bit for a better product. You're delaying the gratification so that you can get your message across better, so that you can get this message to your reader in a better way, so that your story is better received. And so that's what that's about. It's about delayed gratification, understanding that the work that you're going to put in is necessary to make this the best story that it can be, and to give it the best chance that it can have in the market as it currently is. We're not going to worry about the market. You're just going to work on making it the best story that it can be, so that it can kind of float. And then the right person can pick it up and go, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this reading up, and we're going to move on to the next one. I'm actually just going to do that a little quicker. All right. Deck number 2. If you chose the Everyday Witch Tarot, this reading is for you. Spirit, what is going on in this collective? All right. That one's come out. Just checking my time. It was a very long reading. Hierophant, the Devil. I think you've had a different experience in 2020 than the last person. Something about this card in this reading is saying to me that you have been telling yourself that if you keep learning, like if you keep showing up and like you're stuck in the learner's cycle, which we should all be striving to be learning constantly, but then sometimes we get into this habit of taking classes or getting degrees and certificates. I see a lot of people do this, and I think I see it because I've done it before in my life, and I finally just decided to stop doing that. I'm still a voracious learner, but sometimes you have to stop and you have to trust yourself. This is about not trusting yourself. But also recognizing that energy and understanding that you have to let go of this if you ever want to become this. The King of Pentacles. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. It doesn't matter. This is a person who is the captain of their own ship in terms of resources. And in terms of writing, it's about being like the master of your craft. Okay? The King of Pentacles, he is not worried about anything. Okay, he's got it together. He's got enough income wherever he's, even if he has a day job, he's happy with his day job and his craft. He's mastered that part of his life. And if you want to get there, you have to come out of student mode. Like, you're never going to get there if you don't apply what you've learned. You have to apply what you've learned. And sometimes that means sorting through the junk. If you've taken a bunch of courses, sometimes half of them are crap, right? And then you have to find what sticks and what works for you is the gems in the pile of useless information that you can gather. I don't think that anybody finds the gem by sorting through looking for the gem. I think that the gem is the thing that sticks and actually helps. So if you have been kind of stuck in this learner cycle where you've been sort of addictively learning, this is your time. This is your year to start applying it and becoming the master of your domain here. Two of Cups. I'm gonna get some more because I don't want to call. Sometimes I think that's, I always think of that as like the Lover's card. I'm still waiting to see what it means. Okay, there is something here about exchange. So I think that what's coming up for you right now is, so there's actually two people in this card who have, so maybe there's somebody that you've been learning with. I actually think that this could be the same person here. Maybe not. So maybe there's somebody that you've been kind of learning with, somebody that has been, this could be your life partner who is supporting you on this journey. I think that person is going to support you in stepping out of this kind of tentative, I'm not sure I know enough role into being like the master of what you know. They're going to really support this decision to take a leap, and you're going to throw yourself into your craft, and they're really going to support you. And I wonder if you know this. I wonder if you know this person is going to support you. I think that they've been with you for all along the way. Whoever this is has been by your side. So maybe it could be just a friend that isn't another creative who's been a friend of yours. But it could also be your partner who's going to just step in there and just show up for you in a way that you never expected. Looking for predictions for this month. Six of Swords, Page of Pentacles reversed, Queen of Cups. Okay, here's you moving away from something, and here's you hesitating. Okay, so this, you're going to start applying yourself, and you're going to immediately doubt yourself. Okay, and here's you trusting. Here's you saying, no, I got this. I trust myself. I can do this. And here is you sort of wrestling. I think there'll be a little bit of wrestling back and forth with your intuition, because when you're kind of when you're in this like energy of, I don't know enough, I need to keep learning. It's really, basically you're wrestling with your empowerment. You enjoy learning, but it's also a safe place where you don't have to, you don't actually have to produce, is what it is. You're self-sabotaging by playing it safe. And so you're going to wrestle with that a little bit. But this Queen energy, this is the Queen of Cups. So again, this could be that person supporting you and kind of being the wind beneath your wings, but this could also be you with your self-care, like just really rising above the insecurity and trusting that you're heart-led and that you have this. And there's going to be that tendency, this card here, about the moon. It's got this little kitty cat looking into the pond, and he sees a big jaguar, right? Or a big panther. Is that a jaguar? I don't know. I don't know my animals, sorry. But he sees this big old kitty, and in the reverse, I think what's happening is the other way around. I think that you have that self vision still of being small when you're actually this. All right, let me pull some of those pitfalls. Here are the pitfalls that you need to step around. We've already gotten a few of them. Your self-doubt is probably going to get in the way a little bit. You have to understand that's just how you've trained yourself to doubt yourself. You've stayed a student Okay, there's something here about being seen. That's a pitfall. You're not quite ready to be out in the public with whatever you're working on yet. And that's okay. Sometimes the pressure to share what we're working on as a creative is tremendous, on social media particularly. Everybody else is sharing, I should be sharing. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. In fact, it's better sometimes if you keep it close to your breast. The Magician. That's that doubt in yourself and your abilities to do it. Okay, don't fall into that thinking. You don't have to be like, this is pride also. This is that huge, like, well, I have to be all puffed up about it. I have to immediately be the King of Pentacles. No. There's a whole array of a path to get there. You've got time before you need to, ride into the town square looking like the master. That does not have to happen immediately. Don't worry about that. King of Cups and Judgment. Yeah, you're just worried about what people think, and you're worried about how people see you. And again, this might be your partner. This might be a partner who is supporting you. Could be your expectations, since this is a pitfall. It could be your expectations of being supported are I was gonna say overblown. Like maybe you're expecting gushing and you won't be getting it. I know that comes up a lot with writers. We want somebody to gush over our writing, and somebody's response is underwhelming, and then we're like, oh no, it's not good enough. Yeah, that's what that is actually right there. And beware that need for approval. Strengths that you're bringing. It's funny, that's the same card, I think. Is it? No, it's not the same card. It's not, sorry. No, it's not the 7, it's the 5. Why are these in the reverse? Oh, 2 of Cups again. Yeah. You've got somebody in your corner. You really have somebody in your corner who sees all of your potential and sees how hard you've been working. And I think that you don't always see that. They're there. And what I'm seeing here is that through the thick and thin, this person has been there for you. And I don't know, it's really, whatever that is, it's really, really sweet. It's really, really sweet. Any other strengths? This is about releasing struggle. Comfortable in silence. Justice. Okay, I think you know it's time. I think that all this is really saying is that you know it's time, and that this other person is definitely on your side supporting you, so you don't have to worry about like, even if sometimes we're like, well, what if I fail? Will they still love me? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, because this person's always going to be there for you. They've always been there for you, and they're always going to be there for you. I think that's awesome. Some people would just give anything for that. And okay, surrender. 3 surrender cards for you, my friend. Surrender the idea you can fix someone. Surrender to your soul's path. And surrender to trust. So your soul path has been calling you here. It's led you through this process of learning. You don't need to beat yourself up about like taking so long to figure it out, because that was your path. That was what you needed to learn. You needed to learn to trust yourself and your knowledge. Trust yourself to sort through this information, that you don't need to, like, if you've got like 6 courses that you bought and never finished, you don't need to go back and finish every single one of them. Allow your soul to guide you on which one you need right now, and do that one. If you're in a class and you're like, I don't need this, it wasn't what I thought, give yourself permission to not finish it and to go move on to something else. And also give yourself, I don't know what this idea you can fix someone is. I'm tempted to pull a couple cards to clarify that. I feel like it's probably a message for somebody, like one person. Maybe your person, maybe they've always been there for you and they've always supported you, but maybe they haven't always shown it. Maybe they haven't always shown it. I'm looking back here and I'm seeing also there were a few cards. There was this devil, and I saw it as I think for most people it was what I said about the addictive energy toward, putting off being responsible for applying your learning, how we disempower ourselves that way. But maybe there's something there about somebody in your life, maybe this person who's been supporting you, because Spirit was so adamant that this person is supporting you. It was almost like you might not know that they were supporting you, that they're rooting you on. And maybe you've been kind of in the back of your mind, maybe that's been kind of distracting you or keeping you small, is feeling insecure about this relationship. I feel like that relationship is here for a reason. I feel like you really need to know that somebody is on your side. So I'm going to leave that for you to understand what it meant for you. And I'm going to pull a couple more guidance cards for you. Okay. Yeah, this is about you stepping back. You've been in this cycle of, so that cycle of learning can be, I don't want to use the word, I don't want to be insulting using the word manic, but that was what came to mind. That kind of overdrive of like, I've got to learn, and this, you're just frantically acquiring knowledge or acquiring information. And it's time for you to take a step back from that action, start applying it. Something tells me that this is about the relationship, all that glitters. I think that maybe you have been, this is what's coming, take it or leave it. I think that you've been thinking that somebody else has it all together. Maybe somebody you were taking a course from or something. Maybe you were idolizing a teacher, a successful author. If you're a writer, you could have been taking some kind of course from a successful author, thinking that they had their crap all together. And maybe you're just now realizing that, well, I mean, I like their writing, but I didn't really learn anything from that. Or I learned something from them, but it's not, maybe like the grass isn't greener on the other side of the fence. Like maybe what I have is okay too. There's something here about you really thinking something was better than it actually is, and maybe that was hard to swallow. Maybe you actually invested a lot of money in that, and it's okay. Sometimes I don't like to talk about this a lot because I feel like some people get upset with me, but I invested a lot of money in graduate school, and I didn't really feel like I got out of it what I hoped I was going to get out of it. I'm not saying that I wouldn't go if I went back to do it again. I think I learned a lot about myself during graduate school, but I'm not sure I learned what I thought I was going to learn. it was definitely had this kind of a feeling. All that glitters is definitely not gold. And there's something here about mending. I don't know what you're mending. Mending your trust with yourself, that you don't need all these classes, that you have all that you have. You have it all inside of you. You can do this. Or mending your feelings about this relationship with this person who has stood by your side through thick and thin and maybe hasn't always shown it. So I'm not sure what that means to you. I'm sure that whatever it is that you think it means to you is probably the best interpretation of that. And I'm going to leave this reading here, and I hope that you got something out of it. Moving on. All right, we are moving on to deck number 3. If you chose the Crow Tarot, this is your reading. Just checking on my time. That was a little shorter. I don't know why the first one went so long. I just couldn't stop with it. It's more reasonable. All right, we have the Knight of Swords, the Empress, Four of Wands reverse, so I can never see these two cards next to each other without thinking that there's possibly going to be a love interpretation for this. Could be a relationship interpretation. I'm going to read it for now as if this is about your writing, and if it turns into more, we'll go into that when it gets there. Knight of Swords, you've been rushing. This is a lot of rushing energy towards either, maybe there's been like a lot of swift learning, a lot of swift communication. There can be a tendency here to talk too much. That's more shadowy energy. This is more like, it's more like fast-moving ideas, I think, that have led to a very fertile ground. And I think maybe you're frustrated that this hasn't become a foundation for something. Like it felt like it had a lot of momentum. It felt like it was really ripe with promise. And for some reason, the foundation is not there. And so that might be the energy that you're bringing forward from 2020 into 2021 with you. I'm going to pull some more cards. I like to get more details. I always wonder if you can hear my dog in the background. He's a mess he's been a mess since, I honestly think he's had the worst time of 2020 because he's just become so needy. If anybody steps out of the room, he's fussing. Basically, he's okay. He's just fussing. The High Priestess. And the Seven of Cups. Ooh. Oh, I'm seeing something here. Okay, yeah, wow, okay. Something felt like it had a lot of momentum and a lot of promise, and the foundation failed. Like it just didn't take hold. I wouldn't say it crumbled. I think the foundation is still there, but because 2020 was what it was, it just didn't work out yet. But you're wondering, I think you've been very purposefully trying to be in this wise energy. And I think that what's happening is you are confusing yourself. You're seeing all sorts of other ways that you could go. And you're feeling very disappointed. This is like a energy, it's like the flushing of a toilet. You're feeling that, but I don't think that's really happening. I think that's what you're making of it, because that's how 2020 felt for a lot of people. Yeah. Oh, there is some relationship energy here. You got the King of Cups. You're disappointed. This is, again, for those of you who see this as a relationship reading. There was something that was moving along and felt very ready to happen, and it didn't happen. And now you're like, which way do I go? Is it over? Where is my King of Cups? Where is he? Or she? King of Cups could be a woman as well. All right. I want to know if there's any more information that wants to come out. Anything else Spirit wants us to know about this before I start digging? Okay, what's the High Priestess energy about, Spirit? Clarify, High Priestess. Okay, you're reading into things. You've been reading into things. There was an offer and a rejection, and you read into it. And this is a decision to not lose any more sleep over it. And so you're ready. I think you're ready to move on, but you don't know what to choose. Whether this was a project, a creative project, or a love story, the story is the same. Something was moving along, felt ripe with promise, didn't happen. You made assumptions about it not happening, and were like, you were determined to stay in your power, but you're still grieving, you're confused, and you're grieving this loss. Let's see here. Yeah, you're like really, okay, you're doubting yourself. You're totally doubting yourself now. Okay, I want to look at the coming up energy in January. What is likely to be happening with this situation? I want some predictions for what's going to be happening this month for this story. I want to know if you're going to be able to turn this around now that it's being pointed out to you. If there's any clarity coming in. Ooh, Queen of Cups. Something tells me that you will be getting some clarity. Seven of Swords. Oh. Clarify Seven of Swords. So you have a king and a queen. That's a couple. And that tells me that whatever this was over here that you had invested in so heavily, that you were feeling disappointed about, that you were afraid that you were losing, but that you were still hanging on to in your heart. This tells me that you are a match to it. There's something here about, I feel like there was some deceptive, there was a little bit of, there was this anxiety and this lack of confidence. And I don't know if this was about you, but there's something about working together coming in. Anyway, I think you and this other person or this thing are going to get back to work. Oh boy, we're getting... Ten of Swords reversed. The Six of Pentacles. Ten of Swords and Six of Pentacles. So you're wow, it's just not clear. I think that the lack of clarity is going to continue a little bit, but maybe that there will be a little bit of forward movement is what I'm thinking. I think you're going to be picking up this project again, maybe with this other person, and but I feel like there's not going to be a lot of forward movement on it. So if you were hoping for like a big breakthrough this month, I don't think you're going to get it, but I do think that you're going to be able to get back to work. I think that you're going to be able to pick a direction and work on something and move forward, but maybe not, I don't think that there's going to be any big, like huge solutions coming forward out of this. I want to look at the pitfall energy. Pitfalls is this, yeah, so that's like the energy of disappointment. There's also an energy here of being extremely independent. But at the same time, there's not the energy of, so this is the kind of independence where it's surrounded by shadow energy. So it's more like you're trying to be independent, but there is a sense of disappointment and disempoweredness. Not like you just don't feel like you have it. You're trying to project this, but it's not. It's in the pitfall energy, so it's not real. It's what you want everybody to think. And yeah, I feel like you're walking away from this project or this thing, and you really don't need to. It's just that it's not ripe yet. It's just not. It's, I don't know. I feel like I haven't made myself clear, so I'm just going to go through it again. What's going on here is that you have a story that you're telling yourself because you're trying to be in this empowered high priestess energy. Again, you're trying to project that. You're trying to project this image of somebody who isn't bothered by what's going on, by this loss of, you know, either the thing that didn't manifest. You're trying to act like you're not disappointed. You're trying to act like you've completely got it under control, and you're trying to act like you can just walk away from this at any moment. And that is a pitfall. It means that it's not authentic. You don't really want to walk away from it, and you really do want to feel like this, but you don't. And the danger of that is that when nobody can see, so sometimes we're projecting an image of ourselves that's more, it's very normal, right, to try to project that everything's okay when in fact you're not feeling okay. But what would be more honest is to be honest with yourself and let yourself grieve the loss, or have the conversation that needs to be had. Maybe you need to break the silence and have a conversation. Maybe you need to start over. Strength, by the way, that's what I'm pulling now, strengths. There's a new opportunity. Yeah. I feel like you're almost there. It's like you're almost there. You're working through this, whatever it is. I don't really think there's anything that you need to do other than be more gentle with yourself and allow yourself to feel that disappointment. Like, let yourself have your feelings. It's okay to be disappointed. And it's okay to need to have a conversation with somebody. Yeah, there's something here about the truth. There's a truth there that needs to be said. You've got two aces here, the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. This could be about somebody not speaking to you and about you needing to say something. It could also be about you just needing to be really honest with yourself. If there's nobody that you need to talk to, it could just be about being honest with yourself and allowing yourself to move through, just allowing yourself to move through your negative feelings. Even if you don't want to like broadcast them, that's okay. I'm not saying you need to broadcast them, but sometimes we aren't even being honest with ourselves. I think the chances are good that this thing has not actually dried up and gone away. I think it's just on pause for you. So moving through, oh, let me pull a few more cards. That's what Spirit wants me to do. Spirit wants me to pull a few more cards. So I did like near future, like this row of predictions where I was like, nothing's gonna really happen. Like you're gonna keep moving forward, but nothing was gonna change. I want to dig into that a little bit more because I feel like you probably need to so what's the future energy? I want to know, going out a little further, is this likely to, under what circumstances is this likely to change? Okay. Yeah, you have to admit that you have feelings over this and that so you are strong. First of all, you are the strength card. You are this strength card, but you need to, it takes real strength to be vulnerable, right? Did this card come up before? Why do I think we had that before? 7. I get confused sometimes when I do multiple readings. I think that, okay, this is about you hiding your feelings. Hiding your feelings is not mastering your feelings. It's just hiding. Okay, and okay, what I'm seeing here is that you're not going to keep waiting. You are going to take action. It's going to take you a little bit longer. Probably not this month, but maybe soon you'll be feeling a little bit more empowered to take a little bit more action forward. Okay, and this guy wanted to come out, and this guy, and they're saying that was not necessarily reversed. You're going to release that burden eventually, and no, you know what? It was. It's releasing the burden of needing this. And when you release the burden of needing it, it's not that you push it out of your life or that you don't, it's literally that you just decide that, you're going to go on. You're going to release the burden of needing this. This is the King of Pentacles. This is the guy who's got it all, right? And when you release the need to either be this or have this, is when that's when you become it. Or so that it's the need is what I'm saying. It's the need and the waiting and the hiding from yourself and the inability to be vulnerable that keeps you from having or being this. That's what they wanted to come out with. All right, so 3 surrender cards for you on this difficult journey. Surrender to wonder and awe. Yeah, I think there's some good things. Yeah, surrender unhealthy relationships. Surrender. So there are people that, sometimes people don't know their own worth, and so they can't give you what you need either. It's not that they're terrible. It's just that it's not good for you right now. And surrender to joy. There's something here about like you've been really locking yourself up. I can feel the energy. I can feel it in my heart. You've been really like tensed up, locking yourself up. And there's something about you that you need to allow yourself to live again. Like to live in this place of ideas and awe. Let yourself feel some pleasure. And the only way that's going to come is by releasing the clinging that you have on your sense of control over everything, because there was a lot in 2020 that we couldn't control. But the one thing that we could control was how we chose to move with the energy that we couldn't control, if that makes sense to you. Surrendering to simple joys and simple pleasures. There's a need here to reconnect with what makes you actually happy, because a relationship can never fix it for you. If you're not happy with yourself, you're never going to be. A relationship's not going to make you happy. Another person can't do it for you. Yeah, you've been living. Chaos and conflict serves a role in our lives to show us that we want order and ease. It helps us grow by showing us what we don't want. By the book, okay? I think you've been playing everything by the book. And there are times when the book just doesn't tell you what to do. Like, yeah, you're really stuck in this whole, I did everything by the book and it's not fair. And I totally get that, but we have to sometimes release ourselves from I think that it becomes like a prison to expect that everything's going to work out, or that other people are going to behave in the way that we want them to behave. You got to be careful not to lock yourself up in that prison. Okay, so this was my Pick a Deck January reading. I hope that you found some wisdom here for yourselves. And I'm going to come back in a bit and do, I'm going to do a New Year reading, just a general reading for the new year. I hope you enjoy the reading. We'll see you guys later. Bye.